Hi, everyone. If we can please ask you to take your seats, we're going to start the program in 2 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Enterprise Tech's Batch 3 Winter Summit. Can I have everyone please take a seat? Great. My name is Connie Weissman. I'm co-director with Nate Hinman of Enterprise 2.0. And we'd like to thank you all for coming today. Thank you to the startups. Thank you to our corporate partners. And thank you to all the other people who have an interest in enterprise tech. Thank you for being here today. So I wanted to spend a few minutes to introduce our team, or maybe reintroduce our team. Again, I'm Connie. I'm co-director with Nate. We also have Anthony Walsh on our team, who is our sales development person. We have Zoe, and if you're a startup, you have probably met Zoe at some point, because she is the one who's an expert at herding cats. So we get her to work with our startups to make sure that they're here and that they're able to present to our corporate partners. Amit and Rohit, they are our stellar venture people that we're just thrilled to have on our team. So our team is small and agile, and we're happy to be here today presenting to you. So I wanted to spend a few minutes to talk about our Batch 3 program. So Enterprise, we just had I would call it by the numbers. So we had 16 startups that are in our Batch 3 that are graduating today. We have over 70 mentors that are in our program. And the mentors are there for the startups to access if they have questions about business plans, about funding, et cetera. And of those 70 mentors, we conducted 50 office hours. And that's a one-on-one meeting where the startup gets to meet with the mentor. So we, and I would say Zoe has had accommodated 50 of those meetings. And then we had over 50 deal flows this year. So that means that's an opportunity for the corporate to meet with the startup on a one-on-one basis. We, as of our Batch 3, we had startups that were in our HR area. So we looked at human resource technologies. We looked at IT and platform technologies. And then we also had just general operations technologies as well. So you'll see them all present today. There are 16 that will be presenting. They'll be presenting for 3 minutes each. So hold tight, they'll be back. So I also wanted to talk to you about some of the things that we have done over the last 3 months with our startups. We had one big event, which was our Future of Telecom event, which we really looked at the future of 5G and how it applies today. We had almost 150 registrants, so there was a real thirst for learning about this. And we also had 11 startups pitch. We had these various companies come from telecoms from around the world. It would be part of our program. And it was a great day. We had a panel discussion and some insights from McKinsey. So that was a super important day, and it really made us think about a direction of the program going forward, that we also want to include telecom as a focus. We also took the enterprise tech tour on the road, and we had just about a month ago, we were in New York, so we took our startups there. It was a great opportunity for them to meet our partners in New York. So sometimes not everyone can come out to Silicon Valley, so we took our startups there, and we had 7 startups pitch. We also did this with our InsurTech partner, our InsurTech, I would say, our team. And we also had Paul Breitenbach, the former CMO of Priceline, and he presented, and that was a great presentation because he really talked about how Priceline used data to influence their strategy going forward. And now he's the CEO of R4, which is one of our startup companies. But I think probably the most exciting news that I have to talk about today is that Enterprise 2.0 and Plug and Play Cybersecurity have merged, and now we're going to be called Plug and Play Enterprise Tech. So as of January 20th, 2020, not 20th, 2020, we are going to be known as Enterprise Tech. And that just felt like the right combination of focus areas, because we are looking at growth for our enterprises. We are looking at efficiency for our enterprises. We're looking at how our enterprises can have offer a better customer experience. We're looking about how our enterprises could use data to influence customer experience. And then lastly, we thought it just made a terrific point to have cybersecurity be there to protect our enterprises. So that just felt like the next piece of the puzzle that we have now adding to our focus area. So we're thrilled to present that. So if you're an Enterprise 2.0 partner, welcome to cybersecurity. And if you are a cybersecurity partner, welcome to Enterprise Tech. And now I'm going to just turn it over to Nate to talk about the focus areas.
Thank you very much, Connie. Really pleased to be up here today. Had a really bad migraine earlier and took a couple Excedrin. I didn't realize those are like 90% caffeine. So got a lot of energy and happy to be sharing it with you all. One quick note about the new program. So we will continue providing top 100 lists for cybersecurity as well as enterprise to partners. With that, we'd like to engage with additional business units within those organizations to drive innovation further across the organization. As a result of merging, we've grown the number of partners that we have. We now have 14, so we brought over the enterprise partners as well as the cybersecurity partners together. And also excited to announce that we've signed 2 new partners about 2 weeks ago, HughesNet out of Maryland and SCSK out of Japan. So with the new program, we're already seeing growth. We have a significant amount of inbound interest from existing partners and new partners. Really excited to add to these logos next year. Hopefully we can double the amount of partners we have in the next 12 months or so. Want to jump into our focus areas going forward. So security is obviously going to be a strong focus area of ours going forward. We are still going to provide top 100s to our partners. We're looking at technology in the security orchestration area, identity access management, cloud security, data security, etc. Also looking at solutions to help different departments in finance, operations, and legal, things like intelligent process automation, solutions to help our partners with regulation changes, etc. Growth in customer experience is another large focus of ours, so helping partners identify new technology to improve customer experience, increasing customer engagement, also identify new business models and hopefully drive additional revenue sources for our partners. Infrastructure and IT, another focus area, looking at network management, visibility solutions, cloud and edge computing. 5G is a large focus of ours. We hosted the telecom event, as Connie mentioned, a month ago now. And so we have strong interest with leading companies in the telecom space, and as such, we're going to focus on 5G and how that can make the world more connected, faster space. Human resources and talent, if you look at the companies in batch 3 of Enterprise 2.0, this has been a large focus of Enterprise in the past. This will continue to be a large focus of ours going forward, looking at technology for future of work, workforce optimization, employee engagement, employee onboarding and retention, as well as employee reskilling and retraining. Lastly, big data and analytics is going to be a focus. All of our partners are interested in becoming more data-driven organizations, and as such, we are going to look heavily into this area, helping our partners identify companies in the predictive artificial intelligence space, machine learning, natural language processing, et cetera. So these are our focus areas so far. These will likely evolve over the years, but at the moment, this is what our partners are asking for. This is what we think is a good mix for our partners to view going forward. And we're really excited to find companies across the world and bring those to our partners going forward. Some upcoming dates. So we have selection days, February 24th and 25th. We have 2 selection days, just as a kind of logistically, it'd be a lot easier for us kind of as we create this enterprise tech program to separate enterprise and cybersecurity selection days into 2 days. However, June 19th, the selection day following that, we will have that all in one day. So that will be a busy day, and hopefully we'll see you there. In addition to that, we have upcoming summits, June 16th through 18th, and our fall summit in October. And then Connie, do you want to jump into our other events?
Sure. So we are going to continue to have future of telecom events. That will be, we will give you the dates in early January when we'll space these out throughout the year. We're also going to bring the show on the road. Like I said, we're going back to New York. We're going to be in Chicago, Munich, and Tokyo. So if you have any counterparts that you'd like to invite to one of our events, please let me know. We will send you the dates in early January. And then we are working with HR Transform, which is a big event in Las Vegas on March 23rd to 25th. If anybody would like to attend and they need a discount code, please let me know because we can provide that to you.
Great. If you're interested in learning more about our program, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Also sign up to our newsletter and we will inform you about any upcoming events. We'd love to see you guys there. This is a growing program. We're really excited about it, and obviously the more of you, the merrier. So with that, Connie's going to introduce our keynote, and I'm done for right now.
Well, great. Well, we are...
Thank you so much, Don. So with that, we are going to begin the first segment of startup pitches. If you take a look at your badge on the back, there is a QR code. If you scan that, you'll see the startup lineup. You can also schedule meetings with any of the startups that jump out to you. So with that, we are going to introduce our first startup, AirKit, and we have Spencer here today. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. Hi everyone, Spencer Wiedemann. Incredibly excited to share a little bit more about AirKit and how we're shaping the future of digital customer experience. And so jumping in, we're all customers, right? We've all called into contact centers, call centers, no context when you reach out. You type in your credit card 3 times, you're scribbling down notes when insurance agents are trying to read out policies or terms and conditions to you. And what we've done and focused on is the idea that digital transformation, despite the investments, despite the years, hasn't fully arrived. And specifically, consumers aren't benefiting yet. And you've experienced this by calling into contact centers. And we spent the last 2 years obsessed over this idea of customer-led journeys, of how do we start to empower customers with delightful experiences. So when you do reach out to a brand, it's something that is meaningful, it's personalized, it's contextual. And ultimately, what makes AirKit unique is that we are a CX journey builder. So we've been spending years building this, 2.5 years in fact. And we want to make it easy for enterprises to deploy digital journeys. So rapid deployment, think days, weeks, not months and years. We start with templates and allow you to say, these are templates that are easy to deploy and get started with, but ultimately want to make it easy for you to start deploy from a blank slate and build whatever you want on AirKit. We'll see some of those in a second. These other 2 right here is that you build one time and you can start to use this across any channel. So voice, chat, email, whatever it might be, but it's all connected to your systems of record. So whether you want to use this to personalize or actually you want to engage customers more meaningfully, you can. And from day one, built for the enterprise. And so what does this actually mean for you, right? So heavy investments have been made in the last few years around systems of records, CRMs, and we want to be that connective tissue behind the scenes that actually connects your customers across any channel with your systems of record. And a couple examples here for you. So self-service, huge topic, right? People are calling into contact centers. It's costly. It's your most costly channel. We actually want to make this easy, more contextual and engaging. And what you're seeing here is a roadside assistance. So 20 million calls a year are tied to people calling and asking for a tow truck. We've transitioned this from a 15-minute call costing $7 into a self-service experience that can be done and contextual with geolocation, for instance. Proactive engagement, so using that data, as I mentioned, inside of your CRM, inside Salesforce, to engage more meaningfully, more personalized. So delivery, as you can see here, can be claim status management, but really getting in front of the customer questions. And ultimately, my favorite, assist, being able to collaborate in real time while you're on the phone. So taking credit card information, anything else that is more augmented. And we've built this using our CX builder here, low code, no code, templates that allow you to get started very quickly. But ultimately, our team is focused on this mission of building customer experiences that they love. And so how can we help you engage with customers more meaningfully in this age of experience? And so with that, would invite you and love for you to check out our live demos on our website, Proactive, Self-Service, and Assist. They're truly interactive, so enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Spencer. Up next, we have Subu. Excuse me. Subu from Appraise. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Subbu Balakrishnan, co-founder and CTO of Portray. Portray has one mission: to democratize AI and make it easy for you to actually develop your own model and explain what the heck it's doing. 80% of the time that we spend, any of you in companies that are dealing with AI, is spent on data management. Not only the time, but can we trust it? Where does it fail? What does it do? I've just predicted that I have a 70% chance of failure with 3% regression of something. What does that mean, and how did we make that decision? Our success collectively with human reasoning is the ability to understand how AI works. What does it do? How can a business owner, a data scientist, a developer, and a regulator all put this together so that they feel confident that what they're putting into the marketplace makes sense and can stand some scrutiny? Today's tools are tremendously disconnected. I won't even go into them, but creating a model actually involves some selection of an outcome, some data, some cleaning, some moving around in processes, and then having to explain what it did. Portray does two things. It automates that process so you have a consistent vocabulary of how does this data create a model that you can rely on, and it explains how did that data create the prediction that you're using in your business. Portray in a box integrates your data from any store, creates a surrogate model that tracks what is happening with that data and gives you the tools to generate, analyze, and explain what's happening with this model. One of our enterprise customers, our first one, has seen tremendous efficiencies just in going from taking their problem of classification for risk management and coming up with a streamlined way across their teams to end up with a model that stands audit regulation. Basically, to put it in this fashion, give us your data in a manner that is acceptable to you. Define your problem, whether it's classification, images, or tagging, or time series, and look at the model, understand what it's trying to do, give you the ability to explain balance, where it's falling short, and also how to fix what there might be in terms of bias so that you have a model that you can actually feel confident about. We started with cost. Cost is a huge issue, but we are able to learn with confidence and ultimately deploy with compliance. That is Portray. Thank you for having me.
Okay, up next we have Stefan from Automation Hero.
Good afternoon. I'm Stefan. I'm the founder of Automation Hero. We are an intelligent process automation platform, so next generation RPA, if you will. Maybe you heard about that. This is not my first rodeo. My last company, Datamere, we raised almost 200 million. 80% of US financial transactions still run over my last product, but we saw an opportunity really building an even more impactful product in this new company. We're really moving from big data to AI, of course, and from business intelligence to business automation. Anybody has inefficient business processes here? Nobody? Okay. We see a lot of challenges in small and, of course, large companies with repetitive tasks, unhappy employees that basically do swivel chair work all day long, copy-paste between systems back and forth. And it's really a challenge. We're focusing on the intersection between data, automation, artificial intelligence, and really bringing the human in the loop to make our work human again, right? No reason to be the servants of the IT systems. We have to punch data in every single day. Really, we see this as a next generation automation platform. I'm sure you heard about the traditional RPA players, 15-plus-year-old technology, mostly role-based automation of screens. We take this much, much farther. We run in the backend. We have native AI capabilities wired into the product. We don't send it out into the cloud. We'll also have a point-and-click environment to really build very efficiently NLP models, predictive models, and we even can do reinforcement learning. Usually our customers implement use cases in 3 categories. Number 1, automating repetitive tasks. Very simple. Germany's biggest healthcare insurance, within 4 hours of our product installed, automated process and saved 18.5 years of manual labor in their sales team. Basically, of course, meaning increasing their sales capacity significant out of the gate. Number 2, world's biggest logistic company. We just want to deal with them, automating their processes around customer engagement. Really, emails come in, we understand what the intent is, and then we can run complex business processes that historically have been a cost center and turn this into a profit opportunity by not just automating them, but combining them with cross-upsell recommendations, etc. And then the last category of use cases we see is really all around augmented decision-making, best next step, best next customer, etc. Highly scalable data platform in the middle, scales up to 1,000 servers. We integrate any kind of data system, legacy, mainframe, all the way to NoSQL, doesn't matter for us. We integrate your processes, your system, and again, your users in a no-code environment. You just point and click together these automations, government-grade security, and really, we're helping companies to significantly lower their repetitive tasks, make their employees more happy, and increase, of course, their revenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. So with that, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll jump into our HR section. So if you guys would like, please grab some coffee, some water. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you. Event today, we hosted individuals from some of the world's leading telecom companies to speak on trends in the industry. Additionally, we brought in 10 amazing startups to present their technologies which have direct use cases for telecom providers. Our new Enterprise Tech program will have a strong focus on the telecom industry and how emerging networking solutions can create a more interconnected and productive world.
I found the event really exciting. It was interesting. It's great to see how deep they have gone into understanding the true challenges in the next generation of connectivity, specifically 5G, and what it really takes to unlock and make the 5G ecosystem better, to make it more real and make it more accessible.
As someone said in the session earlier, it's not your competitors that you need to be scared of, it's the 2-person startup that's going to come and disrupt your entire business. So that's what I came here for, to really see what are the 2-person startups out there doing in this space. And they're adding value, and what's the next generation of customer demand and trends that they're going to set.
We need more innovation and startups in telecom industry, and Plug and Play again is, I think, a unique position to provide that.
This event for me, it was really interesting because I can see the main use cases from 5G.
So I think what's relevant for me at the event is, in the telecom industry, we're actually in the pretty privileged position of working with customers across every single industry and segment without discrimination. At the end of the day, no matter what the product or app is, it won't work unless it's reaching consumers and businesses around the world, and that requires a network.
There's a lot of changes coming. There's a lot of consolidation. There's a lot of interesting things happening with 5G. There's a lot of interesting things happening with some of the other providers like Dish and Comcast and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out over the next few years, especially with 5G.
All right, everyone, we're going to get started on our HR section now. So with that, please welcome Maria from Syndio.
Thank you. Hi there. First of all, thank you so much to Plug and Play and Zoe specifically. She just puts her heart and soul into this thing, and wouldn't happen without her. So thank you to Zoe and the team. Syndio. Syndio is a company committed to eradicating unlawful pay disparities in the workplace. We're the only SaaS company licensing software to help companies analyze and resolve pay gaps due to gender or race and stay in compliance over time. That's what we do. My name's Maria. I'm the CEO. The biggest thing here to know is that I'm the mother of 6 kids, so this topic really matters to me. This is what we do. We have over 50 enterprise companies and 1 million employees on our platform already. We have about 25 employees so far. So this is what we do. We run multivariate regression under the hood, along with AI and machine learning, to help companies figure out what the optimal organization and groupings are so that they can run ongoing pay equity analyses. Today, the way that companies do this is they use outside law firms, big HR consulting shops. It takes months. And what happens that's even worse is that when they go to resolve the pay disparities, they do so by remediating with budget, but they have no idea what the policies and practices are under the hood that are driving the disparities. So they throw money at the problem. A year goes by, they run another one-and-done analysis, and they throw a bunch more money at the problem. At Syndio, what we enable companies to do is they can do their pay equity analysis in minutes versus months, and then they can actually look under the hood and figure out what are the policies and practices driving the disparity, resolve those, and then stay in compliance every time they hire someone. So why does this even matter? Employee engagement is a billion-dollar software industry, and what we're finding is that fair pay is a proxy for trust, especially with millennials, who are now the majority in the workforce. It's a $16 billion problem in tech alone, and that's just unfairness-based turnover among women. We're also finding that employees care more about whether their company has fair pay practices than they do about their own actual pay. Let that sink in for a second. I care more about whether my company is taking steps to pay me fairly than I do about what my actual pay is. In fact, I care 5 times more. So,
Step one for any company considering a pay equity analysis, and everyone should be considering and doing pay equity analyses, is to figure out that it actually takes analysis. You can't just stick your finger in the air and decide that you have fair pay. You have to ask the right questions. As employees, because every single person in this room is probably an employee of some kind, if you're working at a company, ask questions. Ask whether your company is doing this, because they should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. So up next, we have Guy from Manto AI.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, I'm Guy. I'm the CEO of Manto AI. Before founding Manto, I spent a decade in Israeli intelligence, analyzing and predicting the behaviors of certain bad guys, let's call them, as a head analyst. And the reason I'm telling you this is that what we're doing today in Manto is taking these methodologies for predicting behavior and implementing them on a new problem, which is a bit less explosive, and that is employee retention. So here are 3 things you need to know about employee retention. Number 1, in 2020, 1 in every 3 employees will leave their jobs in America. Number 2, the cost of a resigning employee can reach 150% of their annual salary, leading to a total cost of $800 billion to the US market in 2020. And number 3, and this is a bit counterintuitive, but studies show that the vast majority of resignations are preventable. So what's the solution? Well, we kind of already know what the solution is, right? Because on customer retention, dozens of case studies have already shown that a proactive retention strategy dramatically increases retention rates. So if that's true for our clients, why aren't we doing the same thing with our employees? Well, simply put, it's because as humans, we're very bad at identifying which employees might resign. And that's exactly where our product comes in. We named our product after a mythical woman who could see things other people couldn't. And that's exactly what our AI-based retention assistant does. Our product is based around 3 core questions: who will resign, why, and how to retain them. That means Manto not only predicts which of your employees are at risk of leaving up to 1 year in advance, but that it also explains the reason for each possible resignation long before it occurs. The way it works is Manto seamlessly integrates with several data sources within your organization with complete compliance to privacy and security regulations of the highest standards. And then it starts to enrich it. So when Manto is given 4 simple data points, it automatically deduces 15 more. And since Manto's basic data set is around 40 data points, it ends up using over 120 different data points that have been proven to be correlated with employee retention or employee turnover. Manto then uses machine learning and AI technology and explainable AI technology to detect patterns which correlate to different problems in the employee life cycle, like work-life balance, career development, managerial issues, and more. Manto helps you stay on top of your most important retention assets, helps you manage the retention process, and eventually even recommends the best course of action for each possible scenario based on experience in your organization. After conducting several successful POCs and getting our seed round back in Israel, we're now starting our first POC with a US-based company and are still offering the opportunity to become a design partner for Manto with unique terms and impact on our product. I want to thank you all for your attention. I'll be more than happy to speak to anyone.
Thank you, Guy. Up next, we have Vivek from Weave.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Vivek, CEO and co-founder of Weave. Our empathetic AI platform empowers people leaders to build a happy, higher-performing team. My co-founders and I are ex-Deloitte consultants, but we didn't quit our jobs. We quit our boss. And we're not alone. 75% of employees that leave do so because their managers aren't being responsive to their needs. And this disconnect is costing companies $121K per lost employee, which they're paying at record rates due to a 10-year high in turnover. Now, managers are doing their best to resolve the disconnect, but the only tool we have today to understand the voice of the employee at scale is a survey. And employees hate taking surveys, so they don't. Surveys ignore real human emotion, which is key to true feedback, and the issue to action is 1.5 years. That's why we built Weave, the first empathetic employee feedback platform. We remove the employee leader disconnect. This is Grunka Monka Games. They're an early client of ours, and you can tell by the name, an indie video game company. They were under an extremely tight deadline to deliver a new game, and their staff was severely burnt out. They needed a way to understand their issues and fix them fast. They chose Weave because of Kim, our AI colleague that gives a voice to employees. Kim chats with employees to understand their needs. She surfaces on every messaging platform and feels more like chatting with a coworker than taking a survey. And at the end of the day, we have tons and tons of conversational data. And the power of Weave is to filter this down to the most actionable feedback. We use empathetic analysis to uncover hidden issues. In Grunka's case, they learned that 80% of their workforce was actively looking for a new job. Now, at this point, I know what some of you are thinking. This is kind of cool, but why couldn't my survey tool do it? Today, we're missing the full picture. Real employee feedback only comes out through conversation, and Weave enables your leaders to have a conversation with your entire workforce. Being said, analytics alone are not improvement. And the big mistake we make today is dumping data on leaders and managers and overwhelming them when we should be giving them a clear path towards improvement. Weave gives leaders that path. We provide a tool set to rapidly respond to employee issues. Kim, our chatbot, not only diagnoses issues, she engages employees in the solution building process, essentially crowdsourcing suggestions for improvement. And our check-ins ensure that everyone is held accountable and improvements are being made. Ultimately, we create an experience that empowers managers and that employees love. We see 2.5x higher response rates than a survey and 18x faster issue to action. In Grunka's case, in just 6 weeks' time, they reduced the number of employees looking for new jobs from 80 to 40%. We're fortunate to have a really strong team. We have a combined 60 years experience in developing enterprise applications, and we've worked with 20 of the Fortune 100. We're very used to working with corporates. Our combination of passion for this issue and our experience weaves together to make us a great team. We are Weave. Don't send another survey. Choose to chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Drew from 1 to 12.
Thanks, Nate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Drew Bartkevich is the pronunciation, long Polish name. And I just want to give you the pitch line of our company in one quote by a German philosopher. Things that matter the most must never be at the mercy of things that matter the least. And I'm a 25-year software veteran. I'm also a military veteran. And I looked at the trajectory of my life in both the military as well as software. And I realized that with all the incredible efficiencies of software, we're doing a lot of things that matter, but not everything that matters the most. And there's a little psychology in the name of this technology, and that psychology is based on the number 12. And I think Don Beatty at Microsoft really articulated very well the importance of one individual and their capacity to really help 12 others in their lives. We are part of a generation now, whether it's across social media or email, where we are in an infinite number of groups. We are in groups we don't even know we're in anymore. And what happens is when you're in a lot of groups with a lot of people, people start to step back. They step back because they feel they're just one of many at that point. And I would tell you, I absolutely, to the testament of my wife, I suffer from PTSD. And that is that purpose takes serious determination. And there's nothing more purposeful in a company than mentoring one person, 2 people, or 3 people. The problem is, as I look back on this continuum since graduating West Point in '89, we are terrible at automating and making mentoring easy. Mentoring sounds like something I must do or I have to do rather than something I want to do. And so we built a mobile app called 1 to 12, which has really simple premise. You can use that app with multi-language translation to mentor the people on your team who are like you, or you can hit a diversity button on there and mentor 12 people who are exactly not like you. So we're using artificial intelligence not just to improve mentoring, but we're using our artificial intelligence to help you identify people in the world you could spend 12 minutes a month messaging, sharing, and encouraging. That's the ask. And when you think about the opportunity to mentor from a subway, from a train, from a taxi, to someone in your company or someone outside of your company, 1 to 12 makes this happen. And in the interest of brevity, we're doing what these fine companies did for inefficiencies in those markets. And as a close, there's a big business behind this. We're a veteran-based software company out of New York City, and my name is Drew Barkowitz. It's been an honor to be with everyone today. Thank you. Plug and play.
Thank you very much, Drew. Coming up next, we have Nate from Ease.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for your time and attention. My name is Nathan Harris. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ease. Ease is the first freelance marketplace that utilizes AI assistants to match you with the talent that you're looking for based upon not only their skills, but also their personalities and their culture fit within your organization. And that's extremely important within our entire community because talent has always been very important to every organization, but being able to get the right person for the job is always very difficult. And what we did was we built an entire talent pool, and in our results, we've been able to reduce the cost to hire by over 25%, and many times reduce the time to hire by up to 700% because jobs will sit out there for 3 months at a time. We've been able to fill them in as little as 48 hours by utilizing this process. So if you look at all these different skills and disciplines, we see content marketers, data scientists, but there's so much more than the job that they do. They're all individuals and have very unique needs. So we want to build a customized experience with the way that they like to work and the way that they like to learn. So what we do is we have every person in the organization take psychometric, cognitive, and behavioral assessments, and that allows us to then predict how likely will this person be able to be successful on this team with the leadership style that you have. So these 5 key things are performance, growth potential, culture fit, longevity, and also the ability to be self-directed because what we focus on primarily is remote talent. And you can't have an individual that needs that hand-holding. You need somebody that has that self-discipline to be able to lead in their own direction. So once they've done all of this and they've been able to take the assessment, we understand the organizational structure and the type of talent that works with you, will then allow you to submit jobs. And you have to enter very specific criteria, skills needs, and also industry disciplines because you can have one skill set, but you may not have worked in all those different disciplines at that time. So once that's done, you go through the selection process. Each individual is moved through a number of phases, and the final person is suggested, and that's when you pick that person to join your team. We also provide a series of tools for them to be successful. So it's an entire project management system, but more importantly, we also have a real-time feedback loop. So as everyone's working, we need to know who worked well together and who didn't, so we can be proactive instead of reactive in our actions. So right now, we're all over the place, just like this PowerPoint. We're in Milwaukee, Arizona, and a variety of other places. But my background is I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, on restaurants, bars. I've focused on creating experiences both in tech and outside of the office. My brother, amazing leader, he helped lead Amazon's Flex delivery in the US, creating a lot of processes and benchmark processes to help them introduce Flex drivers, which is a bunch of independent contractors that focus on delivering those packages to your doors every day. So he's really experienced in the area, and we partner with some amazing people like HR Transform, hey Samara, and One Workplace here in the Bay, Steelcase, and we also have helped out organizations like the YWCA. They had a huge crunch where they had to get out their annual report, and they needed 60 designs done in 24 hours, and we got it done and be able to build more relationships with them. So if you're interested in working with us, we're here, and I would be excited to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Coming up next, we have Aida from Zor.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me good? Excited to be here today. So my name is Aida. I'm CEO and founder at Zor. Zor is a HR technology company. What we do is we work with our customers, helping their recruiting and HR department to hire and retain the talent much more efficiently than it's ever been before. On one hand, we're giving them the opportunity to converse with their applicants or the employees on their terms, using the texting or the messaging apps. On the other hand, we utilize the AI-powered technology in order to automate most routine repetitive tasks in recruiting and HR. Think of interview scheduling, candidate screening, employees onboarding, and employee satisfaction surveys. So, the company itself was born out of my personal opinion because I used to work as a talent acquisition practitioner for a long time in my career. And being a practitioner, I've just noticed that 3/4 of my time every day I spend on routine repetitive tasks. This is why 2.5 years ago, I joined my efforts with my technical co-founder, who is a real-life rocket scientist, by the way, turned to be AI developer, and we started to work in the company together. So 2.5 years fast forward, here's Zorin numbers. We are a venture-backed company headquartered here in San Francisco. We have an amazing tech, 2 more locations back in Europe, and a whole team of 80 people right now. So here are some of the customers we're working with, and we operate in 15 countries at the moment. So, in terms of the functionality, so recruiting teams can utilize DOOR in order to automate the initial candidate engagement, reactivation of their existing talent pool, candidate screening, and interview scheduling. And the HR department can utilize DOOR in order to automate everything starting from the new employees onboarding, employee pulse satisfaction surveys, up till the moment of the exit interviews, as well as internal mobility. So let's talk numbers for a second. So here's one of the examples of how much money we were able to save to one of our customers in Southwest by implementing Zoor in the first year. So we were able to impact 2 main metrics within a company: decrease their time to fill and to decrease their turnover rates. By doing this, take in consideration that rehiring every single registered nurse would cost them nearly $60,000. We were able to save them almost $5 million in the first year alone. So we work with customers which are enterprise customers with high volumes of recruiting. We work with staffing agencies, and we work with recruiting process outsourcers. But also, if some of the ATSs, HRMSs, or job boards are in here, we're also interested in partnering with you guys. So whenever we get implemented within a company, we don't replace and we don't compete with any other software. We are act as an AI-powered communication layer on top of the existing company stack, which is ATS, calendar system, and HRMS. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for the attention. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to catch me after this or visit our website. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Coming up next, we have Shay from Jam.
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Shay Parikh. I'm the founder of Jam, and I'm here today because I believe that there's a crisis of communication happening in today's workplace. You see, what that means is that the way that employees today are going about finding the information and the people that they need to be better at their jobs is completely broken. Today's employee experience has become incredibly noisy with the proliferation of communication tools, and employees are spending on average 10 hours a week just searching for information within their organization. And as a consequence of that, 83% of organizations report having information silos. And even more concerning, 40% of those employees at those companies report feeling isolated. And what makes this extremely relevant for companies today is that today's workforce is like no other in history. As Cindy mentioned earlier, today's employee cares less about things like salary and job title and more about things like the vision of the company and access to people within the organization. And so if you're a business leader sitting here today, you have to realize that as the workforce becomes more distributed and more millennial, not only is access becoming much more harder to achieve, but it's becoming much, much more crucial for success. And so we're building Jam to close that gap. So very simply, Jam is the first solution that can measure and improve a company's internal communications. And this is how we do it. So the first step in Jam is that we run an analysis across all the lines of communication that exist within a company. And we portray it in a visual just like this. And it does 2 things. The first is it helps every single employee within that company know where work is happening within the organization and what people are working on. The second thing that it does for us is it tells Jam the most valuable conversations that are not happening within the company. From there, Jam works on an opt-in basis. So employees actually tell us the type of people and information that they wish they had better access to. And think this can range from people in different departments with different skill sets or even different offices or different tenure. From there, Jam then goes and finds those individuals, and we set up a 30-minute face-to-face conversation between employees within the company. So we remove all the implementation friction and the scheduling friction of having these conversations exist. This leads up to the magic of why Jam exists, and that of what we call Jam sessions, which are these 30-minute face-to-face conversations where we give employees the opportunity to access that information and the people that they want within the company. From there, we collect a little bit of data that's never existed before from the lines of communication that we can establish across the organization. So it's been really exciting going through Plug and Play, and we're super grateful. And just over the past 3 months since we've been here, we've seen 38% month-over-month growth and have onboarded customers like Outdoor Voices and Guild Education. And even more exciting, 2 months ago, we kicked off our first enterprise pilot with an investment bank in New York. And while it's still early, we've seen just after 2 months, 92% of employees have already reported feeling better access to the information that they need within the organization. And so with that, our ask is pretty simple. If you're a business leader sitting here today and you think your company can benefit from more of these face-to-face conversations, we would love to have a conversation with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Shay. Up next, we have Tadas from Genis AI.
Thank you, Nate. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a recovering computational neuroscientist and the CEO and founder of Genis AI, where we believe that the creation of beneficial artificial intelligence will be the most important technological development in human history. However, when people think AI, they kind of think this, something that can go through walls and be very physically strong, but not so emotionally intelligent at all. Actually, we think that is going to be quite different. Majority of the data on the planet today is produced by people, about people. And data is like oxygen to AI, like oxygen to us. So what we believe is that AI is going to look like this. None of these people are real. They're all actually computer generated. AI will feel very much like a human being, completely indistinguishable. So as software is eating the world and AI is eating software, enterprise is challenged to be extremely personal. Have personalized campaigns, have personalized offers, have customizable products, and really, truly unique experiences. So imagine a world where your customers are not just white noise, that you see them as a mass of people that are using your products and services. Imagine you can zoom in and understand every single one of them. Now, how do you go about doing that? Well, actually, it's exceptionally hard. You have to hire AI scientists, a bunch of PhDs, invest millions of dollars, wait a couple of years for that to happen. And so that's why we created the world's first enterprise AI platform for emotional intelligence. What Genis AI does is it actually incorporates advancements in the fields of neuroscience, personality psychology, and behavioral economics, and brings in those insights into your machine learning processes. We are already transforming a number of industries in the insurance, direct-to-consumer, e-commerce, subscription, financial services, and even luxury and fashion space. The teams that are using us, for example, in the meal kit delivery space for customer retention, we're able to predict survival of their customers and create campaigns to optimize engagement. We're being used by the teams on one of the world's largest online auction houses to understand customer lifetime value and to be able to offer them meaningful suggestions of what they should bid for or be interested in. And last but not least, we're being used to superpower acquisition to understand which customers should get which type of message and how best to create an experience that benefits both sides. One of the most important things with these technologies is to see value. And your machine learning models have a guaranteed lift, you have increased engagement, and also, most importantly, your bottom line is able to see a significant improvement when using such technology. So we're exceptionally excited to be here. We're really thankful for Plug and Play to introducing us to the enterprises here. We're excited to speak with you about what we can do, so please find us at our table upstairs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Coming up next, we have Cheryl from Prion.
Just one button, right? Hi, thank you. Thank you, Plug and Play, for inviting me to come talk about the robot apocalypse. I'm just kidding. That's, of course, not what we're going to talk about. So you probably haven't heard of Prion, but you probably have used the technology developed by our R&D team. We have some of the leaders of the Watson project at IBM, and our founder's last company, Yap, was Amazon's first AI acquisition. So some of that technology found its way into the Alexa, and here we are. We are super excited to be working with some of the venture capitalists coast to coast, but also with some strategic investors who are thinking about AI. I think there's this tendency in AI for enterprises to say, we should think big, but we should start small. And we kind of say, screw that. You really should think big, and you should probably start big and get going. So we lump enterprise AI into 3 buckets. Automation, so that's your RPA, that's your, if a human can do it. If you don't need a human to do it, you probably shouldn't be using a human to do it. And analytics and ML, those are the data sets too big for humans to fathom. We actually do the kind in the middle, human engagement, and we sometimes call this augmented intelligence. So what we're fascinated with is, how do you combine artificial intelligence and humans for the best possible productivity and performance? So sometimes when we meet with companies, they say, yeah, but what you're talking about, that's 10, 20, 30 years out. And no, it isn't. It's happening now, and our best guess is in 5 years, you're going to have lots of artificial intelligence coworkers. There's going to be customer service specialists, there'll be admins that help your team, and you might finally get that executive assistant that you have always wanted and frankly deserved more than Cindy. And you're going to need it, because already you're probably familiar with these problems. You have too much to read. Search is broken. Some of what you're looking for is drifted out onto Team and Slack. You can't find it. There's too many applications for you to keep on top of, and the alerts you get, some of them matter, some of it don't, but you can't really just ignore it all at this point. And think about this EA, artificial assistant you're going to have in this way. The flesh and bone assistants that some people are lucky enough to have, they do a lot of work for their bosses. Everybody knows that. They're the real power. They arrange things, they do the logistics, they find things. Half the time they know more than their boss. So imagine in your organization when everyone has that, how much of the work can get done behind the scenes, how much of it can be trust-based. I like Robert, unless the company has a data privacy or security rule against it. If Robert wants something from my EA is going to just give it to him. I won't have to be involved. And what are we doing now? I'm actually not allowed to say. Let me just tell a quick little story. So I took high school Spanish. I sucked. I didn't learn anything, but I memorized enough to do some exercises. That's today's chatbots. Some people actually know how to learn, speak, and read Spanish. That's what we're building. Thanks. Not Spanish. It was a metaphor. You get that. Vote for me or I'll turn the robots against you.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Coming up next, we have Tim from TipTags.
Hello, everyone. I am Tim Roberts. I am the CEO and founder of TipTags. TipTags is a patented map-based messaging system that allows users to create, preserve, and share any kind of data on any kind of map with down-to-the-doorway accuracy. But before I go any further, I'd like you all to imagine having a company where all of your employees quit every year. Well, now you're in the trucking industry. 94% of your drivers are going to quit this year, and they're going to take all the information that they learned when they were working with them when they leave. It's a big part of a $5 billion problem in this industry, and there are similar problems in home health and the gig economy. We're working on this in the waste management industry, working with GreenQ, a sensor and AI-based system, optimizing the operations of garbage trucks, collecting data from drivers and customers. Or think about being a leader, having to plan for a catastrophe. You need information before, during, and after a catastrophe, and often this information is difficult, if not impossible, to get. We're working on this problem with Harvard researchers, creating a collaborative disaster planning system for NATO. I just got back from Ukraine a couple of weeks ago where I presented this system, working on the disaster of a Russian invasion. It went very well. We're moving on to the next steps with this system. So what is TipTags? TipTags allows you to collect this information that's often lost or not available at all. We create an atlas of known risks. We allow you to manage disasters in real time, and we're a human interface for autonomous systems such as drones. We have validation systems to make sure that all of this information that goes on the map is true and reliable. Here's an example of 4 different kinds of information left on one property in Osaka, Japan. So users can create information anywhere in the world, it's saved in the cloud, and then it's available to all stakeholders, even if that stakeholder happens to be a robot. So we're a lightweight system that works with mapping systems, with management systems, and allows them to work better together and create a new kind of data. So we're similar to Waze. You can think of it like Waze. Waze is for getting around town. We're any kind of data on any kind of map for any purpose, creating a private atlas of operations. So think about market opportunity, field service management systems, transportation management systems. There's going to be $10 billion a year spent on these systems. We affect tens of millions of employees around the world, and this is just one segment that we can affect. Our team has worked with some of the most innovative companies in the world. We also have about a dozen exits between all of us. The person with the most exits is my co-founder and CTO, Greg Parker. He's founded 5 companies and had 5 exits. We have 2 patents on the system. We have a demo in the App Store. We have 4 projects that we're working on. And since we came to Plug and Play, we've had a lot of interest from the insurance industry, and we have projects in the pipeline with that as well. Our financial roadmap at the gold bar is integrations like GreenQ. The blue bar is standalone systems like NATO. And then we're going to build downloadable products for small and medium-sized businesses. We're raising $800,000 right now to help us make the most of these opportunities. I look forward to talking to you after the presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tim. Coming up next, we have Dee from Sorcero.
Hi, my name is Dee, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sorcero. So we're rapidly moving towards the AI native enterprise, which means that we have to have contextually aware AIs helping subject matter experts make business critical decisions. This is particularly important for technical data heavy industries like life sciences and insurance, but it's also very difficult because they deal with very vast amounts of unstructured data. Now, what we need to solve this problem and in these industries, the most valuable decisions and the most valuable work functions are done by irreplaceable human subject matter experts in very tedious manual workflows that really limit scale. Now, what we need to solve this problem is to deploy applications that are built on domain-specific NLP and that are targeted in augmenting human decision-making. So Sorcero is building the enterprise NLP suite that is both no code, so it can be deployed by business unit, that has explainable, transparent hybrid NLP models. And most important, it is not just deploying domain-specific NLP, but also enterprise-specific NLP. So it makes it very easy to scale applications across various business functions. And this is a little bit of what the backend schema looks like. We are, in our go-to-market, serving symbiotic business functions across 2 industries, life sciences and insurance. We find not only that much of the data in these 2 symbiotic industries are similar, but also the nature of the decision makers, as well as the workflows, are highly scalable and repeatable. Our first application was built for the $251 billion life sciences market, serving and helping medical affairs teams deliver real-world evidence to payers, patients, regulators, as well as healthcare providers. This is what the back end of the platform looks like.
And outcomes.
And this is what the front end looks like in a small glimpse. We are currently in deployment with multiple pharma companies. Our second application upskills independent agents in selling products across multiple suites. And this is what a back-end slice of the platform looks like that helps us deliver that application. And our third application is augmenting loss prevention recommendations for P&C insurance companies through a very sophisticated knowledge base as well as a recommendation engine. And in this case as well, we're able to take a very small slice of that platform, deliver the solution with a really nifty front end. In addition to these applications, we are already in the market with supporting the training of electricians across the United States, supporting public defenders, as well as fighting online misinformation. I've spent a little over a decade in digital transformation. Our CTO, Walter Bender, was both the ED of the MIT Media Lab, as well as co-founded One Laptop Per Child. Our CPO led global product expansion at Priceline through their IPO. And our CMO has spent a little over 24 years selling and marketing information management software to healthcare and other regulated industries. We've truly set out to build a scalable NLP platform that transforms symbiotic, interoperable industries. Thank you very much for your time today. And a big shout out to Plug and Play for their unwavering support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dee. So up next, this presenter unfortunately had some flight delays, was supposed to be presenting during our InsurTech section, but we wanted to get him on stage here to present to you. So please welcome Jonathan from Provisico.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, been kind of interesting journey, so appreciate you listening to me. So Provisico, we're in the world of flood warnings. A spin out from one of the leading universities in the UK, Loughborough University. Professor Yu's been developing this software since 2001, so we're a long-run startup. We also have people like Matthew Grant from RMS and also the ex-head of Aviva Claims who are on the advisory side of the business. So flooding is a big issue. $1 trillion of losses are forecast by 2050. That's a 10-fold increase from 2015. But when you look at actually what happened in 2017 in the US alone, there was over $250 billion of losses caused by 3 storms. Of those, Harvey caused the most damage, and that was primarily caused by rain, not wind. There was over 5 feet of rain that fell. Even this year, you're seeing some extraordinary flooding happening here in the US, down the Missouri and the Mississippi, with 65% of the US population considered to be at risk of this flood. And the losses just to May are already pretty staggering, 12 billion plus. The good news is, though, it doesn't need to be this way. Flood warning systems do work. They're out there. They are effective. However, they can be improved. The challenges are either that they lack detail or that they issue too many false alarms. So that's where Provisico came in. The UK government approached Professor Yu and he to develop specifically a pluvial flood warning system. And what we have is a continuously running model which predicts to 48 hours out. So we're generating a new forecast every 3 hours at a hyperlocal level of 25 meters, or an individual property level within urban areas and 100 meters outside of that. This is something which has been proven globally as well, so it's working everywhere from Shanghai to Kisumu and even New York and Houston. From an insurance side, and I appreciate I missed my insurance session this morning, so hopefully this is going to be relevant to some of you. What is great for is helping people to be alerted to reduce losses by putting up flood defenses, moving assets to safety. Literally moving your car a couple of streets over can make all the difference. The great news is that leads to reduced losses and also better customer satisfaction for the insurer. There's a number of different areas where there's additional values as well, and particularly around the claims side. And we're seeing that coming through, particularly in the areas like helping people identify fraud, because if you know Main Street flooded, you can pass those claims through pretty quickly. If you know High Street hasn't flooded, those are probably the ones to have a look at. Oops. So what we have is, if you take Harvey again, that generated 33 billion of losses. 5 billion was the savings we reckon we could have saved the industry. Something like Allstate, we could have saved around about 37 million. And anybody who would be interested in looking at a US pilot, we're really open to that, as 2020 is our year for making sure we got the service set up across the US. Thank you. A little bit over. Thanks with the leeway.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. So that concludes it for the startup pitch portion of today's event. Please now take a look at the back of your name tag. We will begin voting. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll aggregate these scores and provide our People's Choice Award. So please vote for your favorite startup. Also, if you have any interest in meeting with those companies, you can find their names and their information in the app. And with that, we're going to play a short video to count the votes, and I'll see you soon.
University 165 is our new elite executive education program here at Plug and Play Tech Center. Our corporate partners were looking for additional content, not just what to do, but how to do it. So in response, we created a series of courses on innovation, venture capital, and high performance management, with more courses coming soon. The basis of these courses are real-life case studies from our corporate partners on what's worked for them and what hasn't. The courses are rooted in industry best practices mixed with cutting-edge academic models. They really cover strategy, process, structures, and culture.
It also is very rich just discussion within the class with the other corporates that are in similar positions. What stage are they at? What have they tried that worked and doesn't work?
We want to stay on the cutting edge and constantly look at different technologies and innovation that we can drive back into our core business as well as to our customers, that keeps us at the front end of innovation in general.
We can develop great technology or we can find great technology externally, but we really have to implement consistent strategies throughout our organization to make those technologies something that we can actually commercialize and adopt at scale.
We're really excited about our program and hope you can join us.
Okay, great. So now we are going to present our People's Choice Award, and to help us with this, I'm going to introduce Zoe Wu, who is operations lead here on our enterprise tech team. She helped put this together. So, Zoe.
All right, perfect. The Oscar goes to, the startup award goes to AirKit.
AirKit, wonderful.
Want to say something?
Thank you all.
All right. All right, perfect.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So much. See you
Appreciate
around.
Thank you.
Okay,
well,
so
thank you very much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this portion of our program. I mean, we'll have more tomorrow if you guys are staying. Most importantly, I just want to give a big shout out to Dawn Beatty for coming here today and sharing her insights with us. I think culture is super important no matter what industry you're in. So again, if you see Dawn, she'll be there tonight for dinner at Levi Stadium. Please say hello, and I'm sure you can ask her for some more insights on that. Again, thanks for coming, and Nate?
Yeah, let's just give a round of applause real quick to the startups that made it out here today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. And we're always happy to have more people along the journey with us. Like we said, Enterprise, that we have a buffet of different options that you can look at, different tech interests and focus areas. And we'd like you to join our platform. Please, if you want to know more about what we're doing, please reach out. Thanks very much, and we'll see you soon.
And you're welcome. If you're not, you're still welcome. There are going to be shuttles leaving from the back. So if you don't want to drive, if you don't have a car, you can take a shuttle. We will see you there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you.